Joseph, the son of Jacob, faced significant adversity in his life, as described in the book of Genesis. Despite these trials, Joseph maintained his faith in God, and his story is one of perseverance, trust, and ultimate triumph. 1. Hated and betrayed by his brothers. Joseph's father, Jacob, loved him more than his other sons, leading to jealousy among his brothers. Joseph's dreams, which suggested he would rule over his family, further fueled their resentment. Hated by his brothers. When his brothers saw that their father loved him more than any of them, they hated him and could not speak a kind word to him. Genesis 37:4. Plot to kill him. Come now, let's kill him and throw him into one of these cisterns and say that a ferocious animal devoured him. Then we'll see what comes of his dreams. Genesis 37:20. Sold into slavery. So when the Midianite merchants came by, his brothers pulled Joseph up out of the cistern and sold him for 20 shekels of silver to the Ishmaelites, who took him to Egypt. Genesis 37:28, NIV 2. Enslaved in Egypt, Joseph was sold to Potiphar, an Egyptian official. Despite this, Joseph remained faithful and worked diligently, earning Potiphar's favor. Faithful in adversity. The Lord was with Joseph so that he prospered, and he lived in the house of his Egyptian master. Genesis 39:2, NIV 3. Falsely accused and imprisoned. Potiphar's wife falsely accused Joseph of attempting to assault her when he refused her advances. As a result, Joseph was unjustly imprisoned. Falsely accused, she kept his cloak beside her until his master came home. Then she told him this story. That Hebrew slave you brought us came to me to play sports of me. Genesis 39:16-17, NIV imprisoned unjustly. Joseph's master took him and put him in prison, the place where the king's prisoners were confined. Genesis 39:20, NIV 4. Forgotten in prison. While in prison, Joseph interpreted the dreams of Pharaoh's cupbearer and baker, accurately predicting their futures. Despite helping the cupbearer, Joseph was forgotten, interpreting dreams in prison. Do not interpretations belong to God? Tell me your dreams. Genesis 48, NIV, forgotten by the cupbearer. The chief cupbearer, however, did not remember Joseph. He forgot him. Genesis 40:23, NIV 5. Redemption and exaltation. After 2 years, Pharaoh had troubling dreams, and the cupbearer remembered Joseph. Joseph interpreted Pharaoh's dreams, predicting 7 years of abundance, followed by 7 years of famine. His wisdom led to his rise to power. Interpreting Pharaoh's dreams, I cannot do it, Joseph replied to Pharaoh, but God will give Pharaoh the answer he desires. Genesis 41:16, NIV exalted to power. Pharaoh said to Joseph, since God has made all this known to you, there is no one so discerning and wise as you. You shall be in charge of my palace, and all my people are to submit to your orders. Genesis 41:39-40, NIV 6. Reconciliation with his family. During the famine, Joseph's brothers came to Egypt seeking food. Joseph forgave them, recognizing that God used their betrayal for a greater purpose, revealing himself to his brothers. And now, do not be distressed, and do not be angry with yourselves for selling me here, because it was to save lives that God sent me ahead of you. Genesis 45:5, NIV. Joseph's perspective on his adversity. You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good to accomplish what is now being done, the saving of many lives. Genesis 50:20, NIV key themes in Joseph's adversity 1. Faith in God. Joseph consistently trusted in God, even during his darkest moments. 2. Integrity. He remained steadfast in his character, resisting temptation and maintaining honesty. 3. God's sovereignty. Joseph recognized that God was in control and used his suffering for a greater purpose. Joseph's story is a powerful reminder that God can turn adversity into blessings and use challenges to fulfill his divine plan.